What's up, everybody, and welcome to Narcocop MMA. This is going to be the full card breakdown for UFC Perth. It is Jack Della Maddalena versus Carlos Prates, a banger of a main event, to be honest. It's striker versus striker. It's going to be a really, really good main. I got a lot to talk about with that main because it's just a really high-level striking fight. So, I'm very curious to see what you guys have to say in the chat about that fight. There is a couple other good fights on this card. There's a lot of Australian regional fighters, I want to call them here. So, you're going to hear me talk, and you're probably going to hear me say it's the Fade Aussie Tour, this card for me, at least. I'm kind of fading some of these Aussie guys and that I think are a little bit overrated by the market. With that said, let me go over to chat. First one here is Tristan, praying we get at least 5 to 6 finishes to make it worth getting up so early. 11 decisions last week was brutal. For me, it was very good because I won over 8, almost 9 units on that card there. Lots of money lines, lots of big dogs that I had. They all kind of came through. So for me, yeah, it was a great card. I know a lot of people looked for violence, especially because it's an Apex card, and I don't blame them. But yeah, ended up being almost no violence on that card. Elijah Wan, let's F and go. DA, oh, it's Daz. Sorry, Daz. Okay, let's go. Taking this over to the park for lunch and pod. Good times. I appreciate you, my man. Azure, always supporting. Thank you, Narcocop. I made it anyway, but still watching one. Appreciate you. Yeah, there's one samurai tonight or in the wee hours of the morning. So DA07 says, let's get it in, Perth, mate. Cameron Junkin says, can't wait to watch Themba Gorimbo fight at 4:30 a.m. All right. I'm going to start. There's 48 people in here. We're going to start. First fight of the night. It is in the lightweight division. It is the 9-2 Damar Fan versus 7-1 Cody Steele. And currently, Cody Steele is a -205 favorite with the comeback on Fan at +175. When I looked into this fight, Damar Fan for me is just not a guy that is really good, in my opinion. I watch his tape, and a lot of these fights are back and forth. They're close, competitive fights. He is pulling it off somehow, some way. So props to him for that. But at the end of the day, when I watch this guy's tape, I'm just not very impressed. One of the things I noticed is, once he gets hit, he shells up a lot. He runs back to the fence. He's not a very good striker. He has some decent kicks, but his striking is not very good. His grappling is, he's a grappler at heart, but he's also kind of sloppy, losing position. He gets taken down himself a bunch. A lot of these fights, Sung Kim last fight was kind of close back and forth. He kind of just outmaneuvered Kim on the mat a little bit. Same thing with the Park one. It was another close fight. And when he's faced better grapplers like Salkilld twice, he got submitted twice, and right here in this fight against Cody Steele, he's facing a better grappler. Like, yes, Cody Steele, I think, only has one submission on his record, but let's not get it twisted. He's a much, much better grappler here than Damar Fan. He's going to out-grapple him. He's the better striker. He's just a better overall fighter. When you look back at the Rong Zhu fight, it's an absolute war, right? Absolute war against Rong Zhu. And by the way, he fought that fight in Australia. So he is, he got his feet wet in his first fight in the UFC all the way in Australia. Now he's flying back to Australia to fight again. But to me, he's fighting a much lower level of opposition in Damar Fan. Rong Zhu has great takedown defense. He's a very good striker. He has power. He has a lot of experience, man. 31 fights. Now he's getting a guy that has similar experience to him, right? But he's not as good of a fighter as him. Cody Steele's a better striker. Cody Steele's a better grappler. And Cody Steele has the better jiu-jitsu here. So for me, I think Cody Steele here, -205. I know it's up there. But I'm going to try to find a way to to play Cody Steele here. I'm still not sure how, but I need to play him in this fight. I just think he's the better fighter. You know, there's no question in my mind. Cody Steele's better everywhere. The only way I kind of see Damar Fan winning this is maybe outworking Cody Steele or outpacing him somehow, because from what I've seen, Cody Steele's cardio is good. You know, his volume is good. So I don't really know. You know, Damar Fan, I think Cody Steele can win multiple ways. Every potential method, I think he can win decision, submission, and KO. So not really sure how I'm going to play this fight, but I like Cody Steele quite a bit on this fight. I think I would probably make him like minus 233, 70%, you know? So maybe there is a little bit meat on the bone here. But yeah, I mean, I like Cody Steele here quite a bit, man. Let's see what we have. In between rounds says, I'm the only one that predicted Durden, Spann, and Edwards and Aljo some dogs this week. I think Meerschaert is a smart play, sub prop. I don't know about Meerschaert, man. He is getting up there. Mills says he likes the dog in the first fight. I disagree with that. I do not like the dog in this fight. DO7 says Fan is an instant fade, road to the UFC guy. I agree. Actually, kind of a banger to kick off 4 a.m. Yeah, I think it is a good fight. It's going to be exciting. I mean, Cody Steele comes to fight, man. Double knee sleeves at 26 is crazy. Yeah. Let him bring the double knee sleeves in this fight. Let's see how that works out for him, because Cody Steele is going to out-grapple him, and I'm pretty sure of that. He might even sub him. If, you know, Cody Steele is a high-level grappler, man. Don't get it twisted. He just doesn't, for whatever reason, he fell in love with his hands. But if you listen to his interview, he's saying a new Cody Steele is coming for this fight. So I'm assuming he's going to grapple. I don't know what that means, but we'll see. All right. Next fight. It is in the welterweight division. It is the 14-6 Themba Gorimbo versus the 9-1 Jonathan Micallef. And currently, Micallef is a minus 235 favorite with the comeback on Gorimbo at plus 200. This line was plus 290. It's completely crashed on Themba at plus 200. And I will tell you, it's, you know, I'm a guy that's hated Themba. I hated his annex. The stuff that he's doing, you know, I guess there's a lot of bullshit, you know, jumping from gym to gym, talking shit about gyms that he was there and then he left. And then, you know, a lot of MMA fighters, a lot of UFC fighters have said this guy, you know, he's done a lot of, you know, shady, stupid things or whatever, you know, burn bridges, stuff like that. I honestly think it got to his head, you know, the Rock thing, the this, the that. He got a little popular and it got to his head. I don't really like the guy as a person, but, you know, I can't lie. Like his skill is there, man. He's a pretty damn good grappler. You know, when I watched a fight against Wells, I was very surprised to see Themba just winning the grappling. A lot of the grappling versus Wells, you know. Wells is a high-level grappler. He's super strong. He's a BJJ black belt. He's very, very good on the ground. And Themba was controlling a good amount of that fight, you know. It was a high-paced grappling fight. And I was just surprised. I didn't think Themba had the physicality to compete with Wells on the mat. And he was winning a lot of that fight, you know. Obviously, Wells got, you know, he reversed. I think it was in round 2 and won the round. And then in round 3, he got on top of him and won the round there too. But, you know, the Luque fight, it didn't last long. He got hurt. He got right into a Darce. But when you look at the Brahimaj fight, when you look at the Price fight, he dominated those fights, you know, and via grappling for the most part. So when I look at a guy like Micallef, he's another guy to me that he's very clumsy. Like every single one of his fights, he's somehow slipping, falling. I mean, every single fight that happens to him. He's very long. He's got really good kicks. And you know, he's got a nice straight left hand, but he's super slow, man. Like everything he throws, it's mechanical, it's slow, he's flat-footed. There's not a lot of speed to this guy, man, at all. And you know, I think Themba's the better wrestler of these two guys. You know, I've seen this guy get taken down. He got taken down in Dana White's Contender Series. He got taken down in the regionals. He can get taken down. He does throw up subs. He does work submissions. He's a dangerous guy on the ground because he'll continue to work. But I think Themba could get takedowns here. I think Themba honestly can compete on the feet. He's got the speed advantage. And then, you know, usually Micallef has the length advantage. He doesn't really have it in this fight. They're basically the same. So that kind of washes there. You know, I do think Micallef is way more dangerous. That I will say. I think he's way more likely to finish the fight than Themba. But I think Themba can win minutes in this fight, man. I disagree even with the line now at minus 235. I feel like, you know, Micallef minus 185 is fine. You know, anything over 200, I just don't think it's right. You know, this guy he's won 2 fights. The last fight, he was not looking great at all. He lost round 1 against Oban Elliott. And then Oban Elliott hurt him on the feet in round 2 and decided, let me go to grapple against this guy. I don't even know what he was thinking. He ends up, you know, getting taken down, get his back taken and subbed. But that was like Oban Elliott's fault. And then the fight before that, it's like, okay, you beat who? You beat freaking Kevin Jusay, who's not in the UFC anymore. And honestly, Kevin Jusay came on in round 3 there and won that round against him. So, yeah, I mean, I don't like Themba, but I think this line is still wrong. I mean, plus 200, I think, is still a little bit too wide. You know, you look at Themba, and one thing you'll look at it and say, okay, well, Themba's minus 152 favorite against Wells, and now all of a sudden he's a plus 200 dog to Micallef. How does that make sense? I mean, that definitely doesn't make sense. And then you look at Micallef, and he's a dog to Jusay and a slight favorite to Elliott, and now he's a big favorite against Gorimbo, who's, you know, a better grappler than a guy like Elliott. You know, so I see the path. I really do see the path for Gorimbo here. Via grappling, I even think he can outstrike him because he's just faster. You know, I do think Micallef is way more dangerous. That I will say. If you were to tell me, hey, you know what, this fight finishes, I would say, well, then probably Micallef wins the fight. You know, but when you look at the over/under of 2.5, it's like pick 'em. So you're telling me this fight, they're saying potentially goes to decision, but yet Themba is plus 200. I disagree with that. If you told me right now this fight goes to decision, then it should be a pick 'em. It literally should be a pick 'em. You know, because Micallef, a lot of his win equity, I feel like, is finishing. You know, I don't think he's a great minute winner. I really don't. So yeah, I mean, he's got to hurt you to win minutes. Even against Jusay, he hurt Jusay, you know, a couple of times. So, all right, let's see what we got here. What do we got? I'm not high on this Micallef guy at all. He's a fade. It's Gorimbo. Maybe he has a pass, in my opinion. Between rounds says, is Themba being fed to the wolves? I don't think so. The Arizona treadmill team missed the note, but we are here. Click the like button. Listen to the man. Thank you for joining. Mata says Themba decision plus 550. I think that's not bad. I think someone asked me in the Discord, and I told them I think that's not a bad number. You know, if you didn't get a good number on Themba money line, which we got a pretty good number, but if you didn't get that number, I think Themba decision is not bad at all at plus 550. I think there's a world where Themba can bonk him on the feet. Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I'm not saying it's completely out of the realm, but I don't know. Like, Themba has a decent amount of power. I don't think he's like some heavy-handed guy. I think it's more that, you know, if he catches you at the end of his punch because he's so long. And Micallef has been hurt. You know, we saw it against. He's actually been hurt in a couple of fights I've watched, but you know, I do think Themba's best path is probably getting on top and grappling. Like, if he could do what he did to Wells, I think he could do the same thing to Micallef. Micallef is not a better grappler than Jeremiah Wells. I could tell you that right now. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see. I think the line's a little bit too wide here. Moving on, fight 3. It is in the middleweight division. It is the 8-3 Wes Schultz versus the 5-1 Ben Johnston. And Johnston's currently a -141 favorite with the comeback on Schultz at +121. Very weird fight because I think Wes Schultz is not UFC level at all. Like, I don't think this guy's UFC level. Last time out, he was literally getting dropped with every single punch. I get it. I get it. Pinas hits hard, but like every fucking punch was dropping him. It was so weird. Every reaction. Just really, real weird reactions from Wes Schultz. And the fight before that against Mingaj, I don't really, that win is not aging very well because Mingaj just got finished by a guy named George Smith in Cage Warriors a couple of weeks ago in round 1. So what does that tell me? Nothing. He looked okay against Mansour Abdul Malik early on. He still got finished in that fight. So, like, to me, Wes Schultz is a jobber, to be honest. Like, I know he has a D3 wrestling background. I don't even think his wrestling is very good, when I watch him. The problem is you got a guy that he's fighting in Ben Johnston, who's 35 years old, making his UFC debut, right? Kind of short notice, right? He hasn't fought in 2 years since this last win against Jordan Martin Frazier, who, in my opinion, by the way, I'm going to say this, who, in my opinion, Jordan Martin Frazier is a better fighter, I'm telling you guys, than Wes Schultz. He's a better fighter, more dangerous fighter than Wes Schultz. I know the guy. So, Jordan Martin Frazier can swing big. He has power, and he wrestles in some of his fights. So, the problem is Ben Johnston's coming off this, he had a shoulder surgery last February wrestling. He decided to enter a wrestling tournament for the first time, tore his shoulder, had surgery, was out for a little while. He has his own gym. He was concentrating. He retires. He unretires. He retires again. And now he got the UFC call and he unretired, right? So I don't know. When I watch the guy on tape, I will tell you guys, he's a very good Muay Thai striker. This guy's a world champion Muay Thai striker. Like, he's got good Muay Thai, man. Very good calf kicks. And I will tell you, if this is standing for like a long, like, let's say a couple of minutes, 3 minutes, Wes Schultz's leg is going to get taken off. I'm telling you guys now. His lead leg is going to absolutely get destroyed by this guy, Ben Johnston. The other thing is, Ben Johnston's just worlds better than Wes Schultz on the feet. He's just a way better striker. He's got very, very good knees in the clinch. He's a very good clinch fighter because he has a Muay Thai background, right? So you could see he has a 3-inch height advantage as well. But he doesn't have a lot of experience in MMA, man. 6 fights. Hasn't fought in 2 years. Making a UFC debut. Can you imagine, adrenaline dumps, stuff like that? I mean, this guy has only been to the second round twice. When you look at it, he has like 4 subs, yet only 1 KO. And he's a Muay Thai guy, but yet he's a black belt in BJJ. I don't know, how good. There's levels to black belts, man. I don't know what type of fucking black belt this guy is. He could be, Cracker Jack box black belt. I don't know what he is on the mat. He has subs, but he has subs versus bad fighters. And a lot of these RNCs, man, like, he's getting an RNC with like 0 hooks from the side, like very, very weird RNCs. He's getting like a couple of them that I watched. He literally put no hooks in, just snatched up the neck standing, and it was very tight. And he was like off to the side, and the guy just tapped. He did that to Frazier. So I don't think he's going to be able to do that to a guy like Wes Schultz. I doubt it. But he could definitely knock out Wes Schultz, man. Wes Schultz's reactions were horrible. Ben Johnston, to me, hits pretty damn hard on the feet. He's got very, very good kicks, man. Really, really, really good kicks. But I'm concerned that 2-year layoff, 35 years old, UFC debut, it could have a lot of jitters, man. I mean, it's not very experienced in MMA. He has a lot of Muay Thai fights, but he doesn't have MMA fights. 6 fights. It's not enough. So I wish he was a little more active. I wish, I had a little bit more on him. I'm going to pick him to win this fight. I'm going to pick him to beat Wes Schultz because I think Wes Schultz is a jobber. But would it surprise me if Wes Schultz took him down and went to work on him? No, because we really don't. The one time Wes Schultz was Ben Johnston was taken down in that fight against Frazier, he kind of laid on his back until the round finished. So that is a little bit of a bad look. I will say that I liked his sprawls. I didn't think they were bad. He was sprawling really good. I think his defensive wrestling looks okay. But once he got flattened out is where it was concerning a little to me because he didn't even attempt to get up. So I'm going to go with Johnston here. I just don't think Schultz is any good. Probably violence on this fight, probably violence. Let's see what we have here. Juan says, great show. I appreciate you. Matt A says, just lost $600 in Trump's speech predicting words you will use. Time to make it back with betting MMA. Oh, boy. What else do we have here? Cameron Junkie says, I sprinkled on Schultz sub last fight. Worst bet of the year. Oh, boy. Between rounds says, striking doesn't ring rust. I think the leg kicks will win him the fight. Honestly, his clinch strikes will deter Wes from strike. I mean, Wes has to wrestle. He's going to try to wrestle. There's no doubt. Whether he gets it or not, that's the question, Striking doesn't. Oh, he put the same message. Dixon says, what's up? How are you doing? How are you doing, my man? Oh, my God. My man, Dissection. God bless you, bro. Great reads last week. Much love. $70 Canadian donor from Dissection. I appreciate you, man. Very, very much. Thank you for the donation. I mean, a lot of these streams I do, like people help out like that. They donate. And honestly, I really do appreciate it because it goes a long way. I do put a lot of time in this. I research every single fight. I mean, I tape, every single fight. So, on top of that, like I try to hire people to do content for me, like certain things, templates, stuff like that. That stuff costs money. So thank you so much to Dissection. This is, I mean, he donated last week as well. He's been killing it with we've been killing in general with BKFC, a bunch of stuff. And he has a bunch of bets in the Discord on one samurai. So if you're not in the Discord, join. $25. We've been crushing it, man. Last week we won, I don't know, I won over 11, 12 units between boxing, BKFC, and UFC. So it's been a great year, probably close to 40 units overall on the year already. So everything is tracked. Everything is in a Discord. Best Discord in the game. I'm telling you guys right now. And the link is down below. 25. That one is the free one, but once you get in, you can get in for 25 a month. It's the best 25 you can spend. If you're serious about making money betting, it's there. All right. Thank you again, Dissection. What else do we have here? Dixon says, you see Narco as soon as I come in, donations start rolling in too. W. Dono from Rianne. William Robbins, what's up, my man? MMA Locker Room says one championship is lit tonight. Yeah, it's a good card. All right. Let's move on because I do have to tape some of that card after this. Next fight, it is in the bantamweight division. It is the 16-10 Vince Morales versus the 8-1 Colby Thicknesse. And currently Thicknesse minus 130 and the comeback on Morales plus 110. I'll tell you guys, this is to me a similar read from what I had. Maybe not as big of a read like I had last week with Davey Grant. If you listen to my show, I said there's no way this line's right. Like Davey Grant should be a much bigger favorite in this fight because he's better everywhere, right? And I come looking at this tape and Vince Morales is better everywhere. Vince Morales has way more experience. Vince Morales has fought the way better of level of opposition. I know he's 35. Again, Davey Grant was 40, right? But I will tell you guys this. Vince Morales is on a 3-fight losing streak, right? He needs to win, right? Otherwise, probably going to get cut. That's 1. 2, right? Vince Morales in his last 3 UFC fights, right? He's fought completely different than his first stint in the UFC, right? Lapalus fight. It was a good back and forth striking. I mean, Lapalus is an extremely good striker, man. He's very hard to beat when you strike with him 15 minutes, right? He competed with him. Elijah Smith is on a tear in the UFC. You know, he's looking really, really good in the UFC is Elijah Smith. And that was a super close fight. And then Raul Rosas, obviously, is a phenom on the ground. He controlled, Morales for most of round one. Morales reversed him, got him in a submission in round one. Then Rosas won round two pretty easily, but then Morales came back and won round three and put him in some nasty submissions, man. If those submissions were not Rosas, someone that's very high level on the mat, they probably tap, So you look at Colby Thicknesse, and what is he good at? Grappling. He likes to grapple. He likes to wrestle. He likes to take the fight to the mat. And Vince Morales is better there, in my opinion, than him. When this fight plays out on the mat, and Colby Thicknesse is a black belt, but he's an Australian black belt, I think he's going to get subbed by Vince Morales if he plays around on the mat. Now, on the feet, I feel like Colby Thicknesse probably has a little bit more volume, but Morales is the better striker of these two guys. Thicknesse is just literally spamming kicks, man. And when you look at the last fight against, a guy like Musasa, who has almost no UFC experience, he's very green. He's awful off his back. And that fight was fucking very close. You know what I'm saying? Musasa still was able to stuff takedowns, still was able to get up. And you're telling me if Morales gets taken down, he can't get up against a guy like Colby Thicknesse? When he was able to get up against Elijah Smith, he was able to reverse against Raul Rosas. Like, I don't understand. Why is he a dog here? The only reason he's a dog is because he's on a 3-fight losing streak. But who is he losing to, right? All three of those guys would absolutely roll Colby Thicknesse easily, right? So I don't get this at all, man. Like, I don't get the plus money on Vince Morales whatsoever. He should not be. To me, Vince Morales should be minus 150 in this spot. And I'm telling you guys that I know Colby Thicknesse is going to put his neck into something, and Vince Morales has a nasty front chokes. He almost had Elijah Smith. Elijah Smith did the best thing you could do is flatten out in that Darce, and he still almost got him. And I'm telling you, he is the better fighter of these two guys. Whether maybe he could get robbed or something in a close fight, that could happen. But Colby Thicknesse is not better than Vince Morales in this fight in MMA. So give me Vince Morales here in a big way. I think it's still good. You get plus money. We got him at bigger plus money, but any plus money is really, really good in my opinion. What do we got here? Morales. I put 2.5 units on Morales. Smart man. Morales had some nasty sub attempts on him. Thicknesse would lose to Lapalus Smith easily. I honestly think he probably get finished by all three. Not only lose, I think he gets finished by even Lapalus, who's not like the biggest hitter. I think he probably could finish him. I mean, he was hurt bad last fight. He was hurt bad against Topuria too. So we're in live chat yesterday talking about this fight. Morales went from pick'em, ITD decision, no action to minus some sub. Yeah. Colby's volume is total junk. It's kicking. He kicks. It's all his thing is kicking. Joseph says minus 150 Morales finish only. Very good line. He's not. I would be shocked if Colby Thicknesse finishes Vince Morales, bro. I would be shocked. Thicknesse is the Hernandez of this card. I would say he's the Martinetti of this card. That's what I would say he is. All right. Let's move on. We got 205 live viewers. Next fight. It is in the middleweight division. It is the 37-21 Gerald Meerschaert versus the 9-3 Jacob Malkoun. I mean, Malkoun's minus 1,000 plus. I'm gonna keep this short and sweet, dude. Like, Meerschaert is at the end of the road. Like, he's basically done. He can't win this fight. I don't see how he wins this fight anywhere. Malkoun's the way better wrestler. Malkoun's the way better striker. He's faster. He's younger. I just don't see a way Meerschaert wins this fight, man. Maybe he finds some kind of fucking sub off his back or something. I doubt it. Because Malkoun's a good grappler. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he's going to finish him. He should, but we saw him last fight, couldn't finish a one-legged fighter that was basically done. And somehow Malkoun still couldn't finish him. Like, this guy's he's honestly a decisionator. Like, he's a decision machine. He's only got one finish, and that was by a titanium hip knockout somehow in the UFC. But yeah, this guy is just, I don't know. He doesn't have finishing ability. Like, he's completely lost in how to finish fights. So last fight, I mean, he fought a one-legged fighter, couldn't finish, who was exhausted and still couldn't finish him. So this fight will Malkoun drag him. Exactly. That's exactly what it is, Hound. All right, let's move on. Next fight. It is in the light heavyweight division. It is the 9-3 Kevin Christian versus 6-5 Junior Tafa. And Tafa is a minus 205 favorite with the comeback on Christian at plus 175. I mean, like, we're in 2026 and we're Tafa's minus 205 versus a human body. Like, I get it. Kevin Christian's awful. He's not good. I mean, he's losing these fights. You know, he got finished last fight in bad fashion, right? Against Elikana. And then the fight before that, he's like losing every minute of the fight, getting grappled, somehow gets a triangle armbar against Mazio, who's death gassed, right? The Porto fight, I will say he looked good. You know, he landed some big shots, finished him, but this guy is like, you know, he's been finished in every one of his losses, even in the regionals against not good fighters. You know, this is way back, we're saying. This guy took 5 years off and came back and fought Porto. And then I don't know how they fucking found him to put him in the UFC, you know, on Contender Series after one win, after a 5-year layoff. And the win is against Porto, who's 4-3, like nothing. But like Junior Tafa is obviously the better striker. You know, he's more athletic. He's faster. He's got good power. But like, can we fucking trust Junior Tafa? Like, this is the same guy that lost and got finished by Tokos, right? This is a guy that got subbed last time after almost finishing the fight against Elikana. Like, he's 6-5. His cardio is not the best. His grappling is horrific. I cannot trust this guy to bet 205 on this guy. Who do I think wins? I think Tafa wins. But Tafa would do something like drop Kevin Christian, jump into his guard, and somehow get triangled off bottom. It just, I could see it happening with this guy. So I'm going to say Tafa wins, right? I think he should win here. But I wouldn't be shocked if he loses. I'll be honest with you guys. I just cannot play a fight. I can't pick a side here because I don't like both of these guys. I think they're both trash. But Tafa's the way better, you know, technical striker. Is faster. He's got probably a little bit more power. And he's way more durable than Kevin Christian. So, yeah. I mean, imagine if Christian gets a takedown. That would be hilarious. Get on top of Tafa. But he's 6'7". Like, he's not really a wrestler like that. I don't know. Maybe he catches a kick or something. I don't know. Christian's volume is so bad. Yeah, but so is Tafa's. I mean, Tafa's volume is not the best. I like under 1.5 here more than Tafa KO. Yeah, that's better. But, man, yeah, under 1.5. I could see it. It could be a staring contest a little bit, too. Scary because of Tafa's, you know, because of Kevin Christian's size. He's so long and big. It's a bigger cage. He can move a little bit more and use his size. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm going to go with Junior Tafa, but I want nothing to do with this fight. Moving on. Next fight in the middleweight division. It is the 18-6 Robert Bryczek versus the 14-3 Cam Rowston. And currently Rowston is a minus 170 favorite with the comeback on Bryczek at plus 145. I had Robert last fight as a dog against why am I getting a blank? He finished, who did he finish last fight? Brad Tavares, right? He finished Brad Tavares. I had him there as a dog. Hurt Tavares bad in round 1, then finished him in round 3. Honestly, the thing with Bryczek is he's got really good boxing, man. Very, very good hands, very fast combos. Body head, lots of body head shots, you know. he has got really good cardio, to be honest, for a guy that put out that amount of pace in round 1 against Tavares and still was able to keep his power in round 3 and finish. It's very, very good. And when you watch him, even in his fights that are extended, like, I get it. The Pretoria fight, Ihor fight, he didn't look great, right? UFC debut. I remember he said it was a terrible weight cut, right? He looked bad in that fight. But also, you have to remember, Ihor is southpaw. He's a very good striker, Ihor. Well, you could call him whatever you want. His striking is good. He's got very good kicks. And in that fight, too, I feel like those breaks in that fight, there was like 3 or 4 breaks. They helped Ihor a lot because I feel like if those breaks don't happen, Bryczek potentially finds him and probably finishes him because I think he has better cardio. But there's a lot of breaks. It was a very weird fight. And, it helped. I think those breaks helped Pretoria more than they helped Bryczek, right? So when you go back and look at his regional fights, man, it's got a lot of knockouts. He's faced some decent guys in Octagon. He obviously got knocked out by Brito, and that guy hits very, very hard. That was a pretty bad knockout. He lost to that Polivka guy. It was mainly a lot of he got his leg kind of destroyed in that fight. I actually think he can destroy Rowston's leg here. When you look at a guy like Cam Rowston and you look at the last fight against 2 fights ago against Petrosky was landing some good leg kicks, and then Brundage was landing some good shots on him as well. Actually, Brundage hurt him in round 1. He made him drop to his knees, and he was on his hands and knees, searching to grab the legs while he was hurt against Brundage. This guy Rowston, to me, sucks, man. He won most of his fights early on with grappling. And Bryczek, they say, is a black belt, but I think he has pretty good takedown defense. My concern with Bryczek is that, off his back, he's not great. He kind of doesn't have a great get-up game. But I think getting him on the mat is not easy and flattening him out. That's the issue I'm going to see with Cam Rowston here. Obviously, Rowston's longer, 6'3". He's a taller guy. But Bryczek has those long arms, man. You could see, he's got very, very long arms. He's got more power, in my opinion. I think he's the more durable guy, in my opinion. Rowston's reactions to some of these fights that he gets hit in, they're just fucking bad, man. They're bad. I'm telling you guys. I kind of like Bryczek here. I like the dog here. It's the Fade Australia tour. And Bryczek is in that tour. We're fading Rowston here. I think Rowston, small favorite is fine. Rowston, moderate to big favorite is not fine. He's just not to me, he's not a very good fighter, to be honest. I think, I will give him some things here. I think he has some good feints. He feints really well, gets guys to bite and, throws a nice 1-2 up the middle. I will give him that. He's got some decent striking. I don't think his grappling is all that. I don't think his wrestling is all that. And, I honestly think Bryczek can find the chin. The one thing concerns me in this fight with Bryczek, and you guys could timestamp this, is that Bryczek is a heavy boxing style, right? And he bobs and weaves a lot. When he comes into the pocket, he's bobbing, he's weaving, right? And he's throwing his shots. I'm very concerned that he bobs right into a knee. I really am. Because Rowston does bring up those knees all the time. And if you listen to his interview, he even talked about it. He said that, potentially we're going to try to find the knee or something like that in one of his interviews. So I'm a little concerned that, Bryczek could, end up going right into a knee when he's trying to get in the pocket and throw. So that's my concern, heavy concern for Bryczek in this fight. But I think he can find the chin. I think he can knock him out. I think he can win a decision. I even think Bryczek decides to wrestle. I probably could take down Rowston. Rowston's takedown defense is not good, but I don't think he should. So, yeah, I like Bryczek here at plus money. I don't think he should be the dog here. Honestly, I'm not impressed with Rowston at all. Joseph says, never impressed by Rowston. He has tall man defense, went straight up in the air. Brundage, yeah, bro. And Brundage is just not that good. Bryczek has way better boxing. You put that chin up in the air against Bryczek while he's coming forward, swinging those hooks and shit and those straight, like he's gonna fucking flatline you. So, yeah, I'm gonna fade Australia again here. So I'm going with Bryczek. Moving on. Next fight, it is a heavyweight division. It is the 10-5 Louis Sutherland versus the 14-9 Tai Tuivasa. And currently Tuivasa is -190 to come back on Sutherland at +165. I had Sutherland last time against Pericic, right? And my thinking was that he could potentially get the fight to the ground or extend the fight, right? And slow down Pericic, maybe get on top and do work, right? He came out with a decent game plan. You know, he went to the wrestling. The problem is he didn't set it up. Like, he just went crazy right into a takedown right away. I'm like, bro, like, you're shooting from a mile away. Set something up and then, you know, go for takedowns. But, like, instead, you're just, like, shooting from a mile away. He even got him down. But Pericic did a really, really good job, like, getting a whizzer right away, sprawling, and then getting right back up. You know, he did a really, really good job. Sutherland landed some good shots on Pericic. He landed some good calf kicks. He landed a big overhand, you know, that kind of looked like it might have, you know, maybe buzzed Pericic a little bit. But, you know, he got touched up by Pericic. Pericic apparently hits very, very hard. And he got knocked out. I mean, in the clinch there, he ate some knees, which is not good, you know, against a guy like Pericic. And he got knocked out. And that was, you know, that was March 21st, guys. It's a little bit over a month and a half, you know, a month and 2 weeks. And now he's stepping in on very short notice against Tuivasa. I don't like seeing that, you know, after a guy that's never been knocked out, got knocked out, and then now is coming back kind of soon against the big hitter in Tuivasa, who hits very hard, who has a fucking brick of a chin. He's very, very hard to knock out, Tuivasa. I mean, he's got a crazy good chin. I mean, you watch his last fight and how he just took some of those flush shots from Teixeira, who hits super hard and has big hands. He just fucking ate him like nothing. You know, Tuivasa has a fucking next level good chin. I know he's been knocked out, but this guy has a very, very good chin, man. I'm telling you guys. Where he's weak is definitely to the body, but like Louis Sutherland's not going to attack the body. I doubt it. You know, he might be able to land some calf kicks, but so can Tuivasa. I mean, Tuivasa has very, very good calf kicks. I just have a hard time laying -190 with Tuivasa, to be honest. Like, he's just a one-trick pony. I get it. He has power. He has more experience, fought the way better level of opposition. But, like, how, you know, I didn't listen to his interviews and everything. I don't even know if they're out there. But, like, how invested is this guy in the UFC in fighting anymore? Like, I feel like he's not that invested. Like, he's got stuff going outside the ring. He's making money outside the ring. Both these guys have, like, really, really, I mean, watching that Teixeira fight, how sloppy and ugly both these guys were, how tired both guys were. And it's not like now Louis Sutherland, it could be another slobber knocker of a fight. Like, both guys really, really tired, gassed. It could look really, really ugly here if it extends. But I guess I trust Tai Tuivasa a little bit more. He's fought better level of opposition, better wins, more UFC fights. He's, you know, he's the one that's took this fight. And, you know, he's got a full camp. I'm going to go with Tuivasa, but man, I'm not betting him. Like, I get you know, the level of opposition, you know, the experience, this and that, but I just can't play -190 on Tuivasa. There's no way, because I do think there's a world where Sutherland can get him down and get on top, honestly. You know, Pericic, to me, Pericic, sorry, is probably a better grappler, defensive grappler than Tuivasa, you know. So there is a world that Sutherland gets him down and gets on top. And then what? You know, I know he got up against Teixeira, but it's kind of like Teixeira's fault, in my opinion. You know, I think Sutherland probably can hold like half guard and stay on top and just throw damage instead of chasing submissions, you know, like Teixeira was doing. So, yeah, I mean, I'm going to go Tuivasa slightly, but man, there's no way I'm playing -190 on Tuivasa. What do we got here? Kyle says Tuivasa by decision all day. Sutherland's not good. This fight will come down to cardio, dispensary. Yeah, he's got a dispensary he owns. I think he puts on the gloves after this win. Says 6 cents. Don't forget, Tua is a UFC personality. If it comes down to decision in Perth, we will 1,000% see a shoey. Yeah, very possible. I mean, go back and look at that Rosenstrike fight and tell me how he won 30-27. One of the judges at 30-27, Tai Tuivasa, probably one of the worst cards ever. Joseph says they've legit brought in Sutherland to do a job, sort of like Nico Price. Very possible. If you have net betting MMA for a while, or if you're not betting MMA for a while, you know how hometown cards go. I've been betting MMA for a very, very long time. I'm clearly aware how things work. It doesn't always work out like that, though. It doesn't always work out like that. Let's move on. Next fight. It is in the heavyweight division. It is the 14-2 Shamil Gaziev versus the 6-1 Brando Pericic. And currently, Pericic is a minus 130 favorite with the comeback on Gaziev at plus 110. This line's been coming in. A lot of money been coming in on Gaziev. I kind of get it. You know, Gaziev has a path here via grappling, in my opinion. You know, maybe getting the fight to the mat and maybe getting Pericic flattened out. We've seen in his only loss where he got subbed against Randall Raymond. You know, he didn't look great there. He was gassed. The other thing with Pericic is, like, he's really never been out of round one outside the one loss. You know, never. Not in his amateur days, not in his pro days. So, like, what does the gas tank look like in an extended fight? Nobody knows. You know, it could look very bad. The fight he lost, it looked bad. It looked like he just gave up, you know? So there is a world where Gaziev gets it down and you know, potentially could finish the fight there against a guy like Pericic. But, you know, Pericic did show decent get-up game and takedown defense against Sutherland. But Sutherland is not the best wrestler. He's not a very good wrestler, you know? So apparently I was listening to the interview from Pericic, and he said, you know, even though he has a lot of like kickboxing fights, his initial background is wrestling. I guess this guy was a wrestler in wherever the hell he was born. I think Serbia. But he was a wrestler. His complete background was a wrestler. And in his interview, he said, "Oh, he wants to wrestle. Well, yeah, that's my background. Let him try to wrestle me." So I don't really know. You know, the one fight, like I said, against that Raymond guy, I think he was a black belt, but he looked awful in round two. But man, Gaziev, can he take shots? Like, the way he fucking died against Acosta was bad. And I will tell you, this guy hits harder than Acosta. Right? Pericic hits very fucking hard. And everybody in city kickboxing says this guy hits fucking different. So if Gaziev gets hit and it's flush, he's probably going to go to sleep. I mean, if Pericic can finish Sutherland, who I think is way more durable than Gaziev, he can definitely finish Gaziev. So it's a matter of, in my opinion, can Gaziev get the wrestling going early? If not, I think he's going to get KO'd. So I'm going to go with Pericic here, honestly. I feel like Gaziev, you know, he's talking about how he weighs 306 pounds outside of camp. Like, this guy seems like he's a cartoon character at this point. You know, he loves social media, loves trolling, doing shit like that. And I'm not so sure, like, how good of a fighter he is. You know, he's gotten a couple of wins in the UFC, not against the best guys. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think he's going to get knocked out here, to be honest. I really do. Let's move on. This is the new fight that they added, and I did tape this one just for you guys. It is in the featherweight division. It is the 4-2 Ali Schmid versus the 8-0 Marwan Rahiki. And currently there's no odds, but Narco says it's going to open minus 800 Rahiki with the comeback on Schmid at plus 600. That's what I think. Yeah, this fight is confirmed. Yeah, that's what I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be minus 800, plus 600 on Schmid. I watched Schmid's tape, man, and I was honestly very impressed with his striking. I think it's really, really good. He's a city kickboxing guy. He's got very, very good striking, man. Like, I was actually impressed with his striking. Listen, Do I think the guy is like, next level good? No, I don't think the guy is next level good, right? But he's 23 years old. He's probably improving. He's got a only 4-2 record. His last, loss against Gillis, wasn't the best look. He got, kind of out hustled, you want to say, and then got finished in round 3. But the Harry Webb fight, I'm gonna tell you guys, this Harry Webb guy looks very good to me on tape. Like this guy is 7-0 as an amateur. Okay, he is 6-0 as 5-0 as a pro. He's got finishes in almost all of his fights. He looks the part. The guy looks good. This Harry Webb guy, good striker, good grappling, and it was, round 1 was really close. Then, Harry started putting it on Schmid. You could see he had more experience. Just started putting it on him, and then in round 3, got put it on him a little bit more, and then Schmid started shooting for takedowns, and then got his back taken and finished, right? I think Schmid is a good striker, man. He really is. The problem is he's running into a buzzsaw of a striker. Like Rahiki is a good striker. He's going to be probably a little bit faster, and he hits so fucking hard, man. Like everything. The only thing I will say is Rahiki is defensively irresponsible. And a guy like Schmid, take this for what it may be, he can counter him, man. He's got good counters. He's got good striking. He's got a good question mark kick. He's got really good kicking game. So Rahiki has to be careful. I think Rahiki has a speed advantage. He's got the power advantage. He obviously has the more experience. Probably going to knock out Schmid, maybe even sub him. It could happen. But he's got to mind his P's and Q's. Rahiki's been hurt very, very bad in Dana White's Contender Series, right? And I know that guy hits hard. But Schmid has good counters. He's got to be careful. This is not, in my opinion, this is not Hardwick. I think this guy, believe it or not, is a harder fight than Harry Hardwick, because Hardwick is a punching bag, right? And Hardwick had some success landing on Rahiki last fight. So it's got to be, careful here, but I think he's going to be a big, big favorite here. Like he's just better fighter right now. They're both 23 years old, so they're both young. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Rahiki here. He's probably gonna find a finish. Moving on, next fight in the flyweight division. It is the 21-13-1 Tim Elliott versus the 13-4 Steve Erceg. Currently Erceg minus 255, and the comeback on Elliott at plus 215. This is another line that's been coming down quite a bit. And I agree with it. Yes, Tim Elliott, 39 years old. Up there in age. It is concerning a little bit that he's up there in age, but when you look at his career trajectory, he's actually looked great. Listen to this. Tagir Ulanbekov win in 2022. I thought he lost the fight, but it was close. Victor Altamirano, he completely dominated that fight via grappling, right? Muhammad Micallef fight was very close. I kind of don't agree with the judges, but 2 judges had a 2-0 Tim Elliott going into round 3, and he was kind of winning round 3 up until he got his back taken and finished in that reversal, right? He landed those knees where he had the front headlock. I honestly think those were bullshit. They shouldn't have stopped. They were good knees in round 3. That kind of probably threw him off, and then when they restarted it in that position because they made a mistake, Micallef was like, oh, he probably had it already in his plan. He's like, let me try to reverse. And sure enough, he did a duck on their reverse, got Elliott's back and subbed him, right? And he was almost going to win that fight against Micallef. And then he got a win against Madarji finish. And then he got another finish against Kai Asakura. So Elliott at 39 has looked probably some of his best in his entire career, which is crazy to say, but it's the truth. Like, he's looked really good lately. And the thing with Elliott is he's extremely fucking hard to fight because he's very awkward. His nickname is Awkward MMA, okay? He's a very awkward guy to fight. He's doing all these weird moves, switching stances, picking up his leg and bouncing on one leg like he's going to teep you. He's doing all kinds of weird shit. And he can wrestle, man. He can grapple. That's the one thing with Tim Elliott is he can fucking wrestle really good. And I feel like ever since Gina Mazzani left, he's kind of been a better fighter, you know? Erceg, on the other hand, is a guy that I tried to fade. You know, I tried to fade him last time as a huge favorite against Osborne, and my bet was looking great. Osborne hurt him bad. Osborne lost round 2, but round 3 was very competitive, and he got taken down, and he started going for guillotines and bullshit, you know, stuff that Osborne shouldn't be doing, and eventually he lost a close fight, you know. But before that, Moreno dominated him. Kai Kara France knocked him out early. Like, this guy gets hurt a lot. Alessandro Costa hurt him. You know, he's just not a guy that's minus 255 or 300 worthy, honestly, against a guy like Elliott, who's fucking very hard to deal with. This is unlike any fighter Erceg has ever fought. And he just confuses guys. He does weird things. And I think he could take Erceg down. I think he can even just out-volume Erceg on the feet while Erceg is trying to fight a technical, clean fight. That's the thing. Erceg likes technical, clean fights, and Tim Elliott is just not going to give him that fight. You know, he's not going to give him that fight. So, you know, I'll tell. Let me explain to you guys something else about Elliott. Last fight against Asakura, he broke his foot in the fight. I think round 1. He had a broken foot. He got on the plane. Okay, he got on the plane, and he said once he got on the plane, he felt a lot of pain in his calf. He immediately called the UFC PI and says, "Hey, I forgot the lady he spoke to." And he says, "Hey, I'm getting a lot of pain in my calf after I broke my foot. You know, I'm on the plane." She said to him, immediately go to the emergency room because you might have, you know, a blood clot. She told him. He went to the emergency room. He ended up having a blood clot in his calf, right? He ended up having deep vein thrombosis, which is not a good thing to have. You know, it's one of those where you have to get on blood thinners. You have to get rid of, you know, these clots. And he was on blood thinners, he said, for like 3 months. You know, doctor said you need to stay on blood thinners for a while because you need this to clear up. If you don't stay on them, the blood clots will come back. So he was not training at all for like 4 months, he said, or something, you know, after being on blood thinners, with his doctors told him you cannot train while you're on them. So that's the thing that scares me here is like, man, he's on blood thinners, this thing that happened, you know, how, you know, he didn't train a lot. You know, he talked about he didn't train a lot after that. He did get a decent amount of time here. So he got a full camp here. He said he's like jumping from gym to gym, working with, who's that guy from Ryzen? He said he's working with, I can't remember his name. I'm drawing a blank, but he's working with a guy from Ryzen who's a wrestler, very good wrestler, actually. And some other young guys, he said, stuff like that. You know, at this point in his career, Tim Elliott, 39, I don't think he should be going to any gym and stuff like that. He is who he is. He's an awkward fighter. He's never going to fight. He's never going to fight to like, hey, do this, do that, like game plan, right? His whole thing is to be awkward and throw guys off. That's how he fights. I think this line's too wide. You know, I want to see how Tim looks, but I think this line's too wide, man. Erceg is not a minus 2XX fighter. He just literally isn't. Especially fighting a guy that's a better, probably grappler all around, like wrestler / jiu-jitsu. And then on the feet, yes, Erceg is definitely the better striker. But like you could say every single one of Tim's opponents are better strikers than Tim Elliott, right? So I like Tim Elliott at this price, honestly. I really do. That's another fade to Australia tour here. Tim Elliott at plus 2XX. Yeah, we'll see. It's if anything, it's a small bet, but there's no way Erceg minus 255 is a bet for anybody, in my opinion. All right, co-main event of the night. It is in the lightweight division. It is the 23-7-1 Beneil Dariush versus the 11-1 Quillen Salkilld, and currently Salkilld is minus 400 with the comeback on Dariush at plus 300. Man, I love Dariush. He's probably my favorite fighter. He has, you know, his ethnicity is the same as mine. We're both Assyrian. I love the guy. He's a great dude. He's an incredible fighter, man. Like honestly, Benny is put it this way. If Benny had a chin, he would probably be close to being a world champion, man. Like he's that good everywhere, man. He's a good striker. He's got power. He's an extremely good grappler wrestler. Like nobody can take and hold Beneil down. Nobody. Like he's fought the best of the best, and nobody's taken and held him down. And he could just about take anybody down when he wants to go wrestle. You know, he's a really good wrestler. He's very, very strong. I'll tell you guys one thing. You saw how strong, right? We saw how strong Charles Oliveira was in the clinch, right? With his last fight. Just absolutely ragdolling, right? Go back and watch in the clinch what happened with Beneil. Beneil got the clinch. He took him down. He was stronger than Oliveira in the clinch there, which was insane, right? So, like, it's just a guy I love, you know, good dude, great fighter. The problem is the chin is just gone, man. It's just gone. You know, I've heard stories back a couple of fights ago. He got knocked out in training, you know, before the Oliveira fight by a head kick. That's a bad look. You know, he's up there in age. He's going to turn 37, coming off, you know, weird knockouts too. You know, they're not the biggest shots. You know, he's just falling over really bad. You know, they're good shots. Don't get me wrong. The left hook from the Benoit Saint-Denis was kind of like on the ear, behind the ear, and it just kind of face planted him. Then Sarukian was like a sneaky, like it almost looked like a knee, but it was a right hook that came right on the chin. But then the Oliveira one is like kind of just shelled up and eight punches and just, you know, it's just very weird, man. And he got dropped by Moicano, which is kind of a bad look. They're putting him in this fight like co-main against this young gun who I've always raved about, you know, Quillan Salkilld. I think he's a very, very good fighter coming out of Dana White's Contender Series. I said this guy can be a top 15 fighter, and sure enough, the UFC is definitely trying to push him. If he wins this fight here, he's probably top 15. I will tell you one thing. You know, Salkild's probably going to try to throw the high kick. He did it against the southpaw in Nasrat, and it worked. He has very good kicks. Like he goes leg, body, head. He's very, very good with them. And they're very, very fast and powerful. So I'm very worried that Beneil might eat one of those. I mean, he could even eat a big shot from Salkilld. He does have good hands. But here's a big but. If Quillan Salkilld decides to fucking grapple in this fight, which he does in a lot of his fights, he's got a rude awakening coming, because he's had success a lot grappling against these other guys. But my friend, you are in for a rude awakening if you think you're going to out-grapple Dariush in this fight. And I will tell you guys, you know, Dariush doesn't have a ton of submissions on his ledger. Like when you look, he only has 8, right? He doesn't have a lot, especially in the UFC. He got Camacho, he got Dober, and then he got Cruikshank early on, and then Anthony Martin, right? Actually, Brennan in his UFC debut. So he does have a good amount, but lately he really doesn't have any. Last one he had was Frank Camacho in 2019. So you're talking about 7 years. But listen, if Quillan Salkilld is going to try to grapple, by the way, I will say he hasn't had submissions is because of look at who he's facing, right? Diego Ferreira, Tony Ferguson, Gamrot, Oliveira, Sarukian, Moicano, Saint-Denis, all fucking incredible wrestler grapplers. Like all of them. They're just great. All of those guys are better wrestler grapplers than Salkilld. Put it that way, right? And that's the reason why probably Benny hasn't been getting subs. That's the other reason, right? If Salkilld says, I'm going to, you know, we're going to pull it out and put it on the table and see who's the better grappler, well, give me Benny Dariush all day. I mean, plus 300. Easy bet. My concern is that, you know, this is going to be standing. Benny probably won't shoot, which I wish Benny did try to grapple in this fight, like proactively, like he did against Moicano, because I think he can get Salkilld. I mean, Salkilld got taken down by Malarkey last fight. Like Beneil can easily take him down if he wants it. The problem is, from what I've seen, is Beneil tends to tire out when he grapples a lot. And And Salkild's the kind of guy I don't think he's going to settle on bottom. He's going to work. He's going to make Beneil work, potentially get him tired. Yeah, man. I mean, I would love to bet Benny. I just can't. There's no way this chin is okay, man. It's shot. He wanted to move up to 170. He told the UFC, I want to move up to 170 because I don't think these weight cuts are potentially destroying my chin. But the PI people told him, no, you need to stay at 55. It's not that. We need to work on a different plan on your weight cut. You need to eat more carbs, they told him, actually, and cut out protein. They told him, cut out your protein. You're eating too much protein. So I don't know. I don't think that's going to fix the chin, to be honest. Like, I still think he's probably going to, maybe even a high kick that's blocked could potentially hurt him bad. Like, I love Benny, again, probably my favorite fighter, but damn, I just can't bet him anymore. It's hard. It's really hard. I think Salkild's going to win here, but man, I would love for Benny to come back and just show people one more time who he is. Who am I? Here I am. I can grapple. And I think the game plan for him here is, honestly, he should grapple. Like, I'm not saying he can't strike he can definitely strike with Quillen, and he probably potentially could be even the better striker of the two, but like, he just can't take a punch or a kick. That's the issue. So you don't want to be standing for very long. Narco Davey did it for the 40+ gang. Unks are back. Yep, he definitely did it. Narco, do you see Dariush's eye is shut this week like a sty? Really? I haven't. No, I haven't looked at that. I'm gonna look at it more. That's a good. Yeah, I need to look at it. Marcus says if they open the doors and the windows to the arena, the breeze could be. Yeah, I mean, he's just kind of washed, man, as far as the chin is concerned. Still got a lot of skill, but I don't know. I just hope somehow, some way, if this fight goes to the decision, right? If Beneil doesn't, get hurt, knocked out, this is fucking very close. I'm telling you guys, potentially Beneil winning if it goes to the decision. Next fight, it is the main event of the night. It is the 18-3 Jack Della Maddalena versus the 23-7 Carlos Prates. And currently, Prates is -120 with the comeback on Jack Della at +100. This is probably my second favorite fighter, Jack Della. I love the boxing. I love the body shots. I mean, I just love Jack Della in a nutshell. Really, really good fighter, very good durability, good cardio, very good power, just incredible boxing skills, right? And before tape, I'm like, man, I'm probably gonna bet Jack Della here because I just feel like 5 rounds favors him a little bit more. I think he's got better cardio. He's in Australia, which again is going to favor him, right? And I said to myself, Prates never really faced a guy with heavy boxing skills outside of Jeff Neal, who was having a lot of success against Prates in that fight prior to getting, knocked out, right? He's having a lot of success against him. And I feel like Jack Della could potentially have success like that against him. And Della is obviously more durable than Neal at this point. The problem I see in this fight for Jack Della is, when you get into range as a boxer like he does, and he also likes to dig to the body, he's got to get in close, kind of shell up. He does a lot of the shelling up and trying to get in. Carlos does a really, really good job with his stepping knees, his elbows, his straight shots. And when you look at these two guys, Prates has so many more weapons than Della, Maddalena. That's the issue here. It's like Jack does a lot of shelling up and letting guys throw at him. He did it a lot against Holland. I don't think that's a good idea against Prates because Prates, you shell up here, he's gonna teep you right to the body. You know what I'm saying? You shell up here and he'll try to clinch you and freaking give you a knee. Like he's got way more weapons than Jack Della. He's longer than Jack Della. I feel like that, even watching that Holland fight, which I don't think it should have been a split. And Holland just is mostly all hands. He teeped a little in that fight, but he's mostly hands. And you see him landing at times on Jella. You see him using that reach on Jack Della. And I feel like Prates is probably do the same thing here to him, you know? And then once he gets into the pocket, yeah, sure, Jack Della can land to the body, and maybe those affect Prates. I don't know, because I haven't really seen Prates eat body shots like Della throws them. But in the same sequence, he could eat a fucking nasty knee there. He can eat a nasty elbow there. Like, the better clinch fighter is Carlos Prates here, you know? So my concern is that Jack Della needs to get close to land. Meanwhile, Prates could land from the outside. Prates can even land on the inside. That's the big difference here, is like Jack needs to get inside to land, but he also can eat something in there. He can also eat a knee to the body. He can eat a step-in knee. He can eat elbows. So, like, Prates just has more weapons than Jack Della. I think if this fight drags out, and like we're into rounds 4 and 5, right? And I feel like Jack Della might have a little bit of an advantage here. I think he has better cardio. He probably has better push through than a guy like Prates, even though Prates looked good in round 5 in his fight against Gary. But that was, Gary was completely gassed from running. You know, I don't see Jack Della running in this fight. You know, I'm curious to see who gets on the front foot, because I feel like both guys have been on the front and have in some fights been on the back foot, right? So I'm curious to see who takes the front foot here. I think it's going to be Jack Della from what I've seen, but it could be Prates at points, because I've seen Jack get backed up by Holland in that fight. So, and I don't know which way to go here. I'm leaning Prates. I'm probably not going to bet this fight. I don't have a great read. I really don't have a great read. But I'm leaning Prates here just because of more weapons. That's it. You know, I feel like he's got more weapons to use in that fight. Meanwhile, Jack is just strictly hands. You know, he's all hands. Yeah, that will do it. Let's see what we have before I move on here and close it out. Colstein says, I agree. I think that was for Benny fight. Dio says minutes over moments. Steve Harvey says, I think Dariush loses, but this is one of the better fights in the top 15 for him. Yeah, I mean, it is, but he's also facing a good striker with a good kicking game. I feel like that's a little bad, but yeah, we'll see. Greg says Holland picked him off from the outside. Yeah, he did land some good shots on him on the outside. That's what I'm concerned about here. JDM, 2 split wins last 5. Lost to Basel Hafez. I got Prates Aura. Yep. Prates at 10-minute mark transforms horribly. No cardio. Yes, cardio. Well, I wouldn't say horribly. I mean, he looked fine in round 5 against Gary, but yeah, I mean, I feel like for sure Jack has the better cardio here. But yeah, guys, that's it. 300 live viewers. I appreciate all of you. You guys are the effing best. Please like, subscribe, put the notifications on. Thursday, no Friday this week. Lambo Plays podcast, me and Tim. It's going to be Thursday night, not Friday night, because the card is very early in the US. So doing it Friday night probably doesn't give people enough time to put their bets in, stuff like that. So we're going to do it special edition Lambo Plays podcast on this channel. It's going to be Thursday, I believe 9 p.m. Eastern. I'm not 100% sure. I will get back to you guys on that. Maybe 10 p.m. Eastern, actually. I think it's a better time. 10 p.m. Eastern on Thursday. Also, please, if you want to join the Discord, down below is the free link. I'm 10-4 on the free picks there. I give one each week. We cashed one last week. But if you want to get in the Discord, it's $25 a month. You also, you click that same link. There's a welcome and info link channel there. You can click on that channel and subscribe, and it opens up all the channels. We have some really, really good sharps in there. Boxing. There's a shit ton of boxing this week, and there will definitely be bets for boxing. Yeah, and then One Samurai this morning. I got to go tape some of these fights, but I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for being here, and let's cash those tickets for UFC Perth.